it's not super late, I'll call you. If not, I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, love you. Oh. No.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Larry.
Jeffrey,
Hi, everybody.
Larry,
Rosalind, Bob, Kim.
Yeah.
Hi, Larry.
How you
Jared.
doing, Bob?
My computer is showing 7:26, so I was going to wait until it said 7:30. I have 3 different clocks. I'm gonna go with the city laptop.
Hi, Mark.
Okay, the time is now 7:30. I'm going to call this meeting to order. 7:30, it is the regular council meeting of August 24th. Clerk, can you please take a roll call?
Yes. Councilman Bliss.
I'm here.
Councilwoman Clark.
Here.
Councilman Corbett.
Present.
Councilman Gettings.
Present.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Here.
Mayor Grafstein.
I'm here, thank you. Invocation this evening will be led by Councilor Rohrbach, and then we'll ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilor Rohrbach?
Good evening. As we sit here and adjust our minds and our thoughts towards doing the best for the city, for our residents, and for all who live here, may we do our very best, choose our words carefully, and follow our hearts and our minds in doing the best we can at all times.
Thank you. If you could please stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilor Rohrbach, would you like to lead us?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. First up, we have approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
Your Honor, I think there was a request for an addition to a C5, if I remember seeing that correctly. I so moved it, I believe involves resignation of Ms. Rohrbach from ITech. And so I moved it.
From the alternative.
Yes, right.
Alternate role, yes. Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to add to the agenda under C5, the resignation of Councilor Rohrbach as the alternate from the ITech. Is there any discussion? All right. Clerk, could you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes. Thank you. That will be added on. Any other additions or deletions? Okay. Up then this evening, we have presentations. Mrs. Marsh, could you please present the certificate of appreciation for the FBI task force? Unmute.
Sorry about that. City Council is being requested to acknowledge the valuable contributions to the community by the FBI Task Force with a certificate of appreciation. The FBI Task Force has been instrumental in helping eradicate human trafficking in Oakland County and specifically in Madison Heights. Most recently, the task force has arrested a 23-year-old suspect that is alleged to have been threatening college-age women and using them in a sex trafficking ring. This suspect was trafficking these women all over Oakland County, and the task force was able to investigate this suspect and subsequently arrest the suspect and safely remove those victims from the human trafficking ring. So council is being asked to approve said certificate of appreciation tonight.
Thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilor Clark.
I move that we, that council gives a certificate of appreciation to the FBI task force.
Great, thank you. There's second?
Your Honor.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis?
Second, please.
Great, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to for a certificate of appreciation to the FBI task force. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark.
I had the pleasure of attending the Citizens Academy last year where we actually got to listen to this task force talk a lot about what it is that they do in the community. And I was just completely like impressed, like utterly impressed with everything that they're doing. So they are very well deserved of this award.
Great, thank you. Is there any other discussion? All right.
Your Honor?
Yep,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr.
No, I'd
Soltis?
like to just add that they are doing a fantastic job. This particular officer goes above and beyond, and it's well deserved. So thank you.
Right.
Thank you. All right, any other discussion, comments from council? All right, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Mayor Greifstein.
I vote yes, motion passes. Thank you. Next up, presentation. Again, it's a certificate of appreciation to the Special Investigations Unit. Mrs. Marsh, report.
Yes, City Council is again being requested to acknowledge the valuable contributions to the community by the Special Investigations Task Force. Since its reopening, the SIU has been having a significant impact on human trafficking and prostitution that has been occurring in our local hotels. SIU has been instrumental in making numerous arrests for human trafficking and for investigating and assisting in the prosecution of one of the first major human trafficking cases in Oakland County. SIU continues to produce positive results and has been instrumental in cleaning up our hotel areas. So tonight, council is being asked to award this certificate of appreciation to our Special Investigations Unit.
Great, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach?
I move that we approve the certificate of appreciation for the Special Investigation Unit.
Great, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, support.
Thank you, Councilman Corbett. Motion has been made and seconded for the certificate of appreciation to the Special Investigation Unit. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilman Bliss?
I just wanted to say that the SIU is such a critical thing for our city. Bringing it back was, I think, the single most impactful decision that council has made, at least in my time on council. And I just want us to remember how great of a job they do, how important the work that they do is. These are unsung heroes. Oftentimes, I mean, their names aren't going to be printed in the papers. If we were doing this in person, they wouldn't even be able to come up and get it. A lot of the work that they do is undercover. And so we need to do all that we can to show appreciation in any way that we can. And I love that we're doing this here tonight. I'm hoping that all the members are watching and they know how committed we are to the work that they are doing. And I would ask my peers on council to also remember this. As budgets tighten, in the last recession, this was a casualty. And so we need to be very, very not only on top of things, but we need to make sure that this stays a priority, not just for the dedication of the folks who are working on this task force, but also for the importance of the safety and security of our residents for the work that they do. So congratulations to them. And I look forward to this continuing. They do so much for our city that we could issue them a proclamation every single week. But I definitely think that we should make it a point to issue one at least every year or so as a reminder of the great work that they do.
Great. Thank you. And I echo those sentiments. We're
Your
very
Honor.
grateful for the SIU.
Your Honor.
Corbett?
Yeah, I wanted to go along with what Councilman Bliss was saying. I think it's notable that over the last 12 to 15 years, the evolution back when the SIU was still a regular part of the budget prior to the recession. It did a great many things in the community. Some were a lot less, what's the word I'm looking for, a lot less dramatic, a lot less dangerous. Traffic work and some other things they used to be called upon to do. And I don't think that it's a point to be missed as we go into the budget questions for the next couple of years, how much it's ratcheted up. Now there's none of that going on. It's undercover work. It's work in conjunction with the FBI. It's in conjunction with the other departments in the county. It's much more dangerous, much more serious. Not that it always wasn't, but it's not the kind of thing that for the faint-hearted, and we certainly appreciate their work and certainly need to find a way to keep it going. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other comments by council, discussion? All right, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Council Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, thank you. Mrs. Marsh, can you please make sure that those certificate of appreciation are forwarded to Chief Haynes so that he can provide them to the FBI task force and the SIU. Up next, we have public hearings. First up, we have meeting open to the public. This is the opportunity for the public to speak. We ask that you state your name, address, any affiliation that you have with the city. Please speak clearly and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less.
You're muted.
No idea what you heard from that. All right, I'm just going to say thank you, that passed. Up next is public hearings. Meeting open to the public. So we ask that you state your name and address, any affiliation you have with the city, speak clearly, make sure you're not muted. Limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. If you have video and you can put up your hand so that we can see you, that would be great. We try to get to everybody. Anyone who wants to speak from the public? After all that, nobody. All right. All right, I see no members of the public wishing to be recognized this evening. So we will close that. Up next, we have section C, communications. There are 5 items here, and they are all resignations. Question for the city attorney: can we handle all 5 resignations in one motion, or do we need to do them separately?
Your Honor,
Yes, please.
you can do them collectively, but if someone, it's up to council to whether they decide to do it collectively or individually.
Okay, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept all of the resignations collectively in one motion.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sherman, does she need to state every, or should I state every resignation?
Well, the maker of the motion, Your Honor, should indicate who's resigning from what board.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Clark, would you like to restate your motion? Mute. You're on, we can't hear you.
When I press the space bar on the computer, it turned my mute on. So hold on,
Okay.
let me get to the section so that I can read it all accurately.
Thank you.
Apologize. Almost there. The page down a lot of pages, so. Okay, so I would like to make the motion that we accept the resignation of Councilwoman Clark from the Arts Board, Mike Mundy from the Information Technology Advisory Board, Josh Schroeder from the Environmental Citizens Committee and the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and I believe we added Councilor Rohrbach from her resignation as alternate from the ITech, the Information Technology Advisory Board.
You also need to add the mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the mayor's resignation again?
Mayor Grafstein would be resigning from the City Council Liaison as council alternate, the Environmental Citizens Committee as the council representative, the Madison Heights Community Coalition as the council representative, and SIMCOG as the council representative.
I would like to add all the language that Melissa Marsh just used to my motion as well.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
Your Honor,
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
second, please.
Thank you. All right, a motion has been made and seconded to accept the resignation of myself, Councilwoman Clark, Councilor Rohrbach, Mike Mundy, and Josh Schroeder from a variety of boards and commissions. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilman Bliss.
I just want to make sure that we issue the appropriate certificate of recognition and thanks to Mr. Mundy and Mr. Schroeder. Both were original members, I think, of their boards. And so it's sad to see them go, but I understand with time constraints. And so I just want to make sure they get the recognition and thanks that they deserve.
Great, thank you. Any other discussion from council? All right, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Yes. Councilman Gettys,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, thank you. Resignations have been accepted. Up next, item under reports, we have D1, City Manager Resolution amending the structure of the Human Relations and Equity Commission. Mrs. Marsh, do you have a report?
Yes. Staff was requested by Mayor Grafstein and Councilwoman Clark to amend the resolution for the new Human Relations and Equity Commission to include an alternate city council representative. The original resolution established the commission with 5 voting members and 1 ex officio city council representative. Per this request, staff reviewed the resolution and added 2 alternate citizen members, 1 additional representative from city council in an ex officio capacity, and also removed council's appointment of the chair and general members based on the application process and no one applying to specifically be the chair. Staff recommends that City Council approve this resolution amending the structure of the Human Relations and Equity Commission as presented.
Great, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Mrs. Mayor,
Councilwoman Clark.
I would like to move that City Council approve the resolution amending the structure of the Human Relations and Equity Commission as presented.
Great, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the resolution amending the structure of the Human Relations and Equity Commission. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett, Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettys,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, thank you. Second report this evening is for the police chief for an interlocal agreement with the Royal Oak gun range use. Mrs. Marsh, do you have a report?
Staff has prepared an interlocal agreement with the City of Royal Oak to allow their police department to use our gun range for the amount of $5,000 annually. This will offset our operating expenditures. Staff and I recommend City Council approve this interlocal agreement with the Royal Oak Gun Range and authorize the city manager and the police chief to sign on behalf of the city.
Great, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Your Honor.
Councilman Corbett,
I move that the council approve the interlocal agreement between the city of Madison Heights and the city of Royal Oak with respect to use of the gun range.
great, thank you. Second,
Your Honor.
Council Rohrbach.
I second.
Great, thank you. A motion has been made and seconded for the interlocal agreement with Royal Oak for the gun range use. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Corbett?
question, I guess it should either go to the chief or to Mr. Sherman, one of the Mr. Shermans. Is there a particular reason why we have to approve an agreement between Madison Heights and Royal Oak? If, for example, the city of Clawson asked to use the range for a few hours on a couple Saturdays, is it because it's a permanent, or is there a liability, or why are we going through this administrative hurdle for a $5,000 contract?
Mr. Sherman?
I think that's an issue for the chief, Your Honor.
Okay. Chief Haynes, could you please comment?
Yes, it's funny that Mr. Corbett brought up Clausen because we actually do have an agreement with Clausen. They do come in a few times a year. But this agreement was wanted to be drafted up by Royal Oak so that it delineated whose responsibility was the range cleaning, the range maintenance, and the fact that, you know, with a city like Clausen, there's a few officers that come in and they're there for a short period of time, but with Royal Oak, there's going to be a lot of scheduling issues that are going to come up that we'll be working through. They're a little bit larger department than we are, and they certainly wanted to have something in writing as well, contracting with us before they moved to their new building and did not have a gun range available.
Okay, well, I'm a little sensitive to necessarily making you guys come. I would say that for almost any department, have to walk in contracts and stuff, but if they ask for it, they ask for it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Mrs. Mayor,
Councilwoman Clark?
can I ask how we got to the $5,000 number?
Chief Haynes, could you answer, please?
Yes, where we came to that number is what we believed was reasonable. They were going to be supplying their own targets and their own ammo and all of those sort of things. What we considered in that amount was, what is it going to cost us in any additional cleaning, rehabbing the range, and the yearly maintenance. And that's where we came up with that number when we added all those things together.
Thanks. It just seems like the scheduling issues that you brought up just a minute ago might make it even more of like a complicated project to try and undertake, which might bring a little bit more value to the time and use of the space. That's why I was just wondering what metrics you use to get to that 5,000 number. Is that something that you think that we could charge more for, or is that like a going rate for what it is that we're doing?
Actually, I mean, it's a good question. And actually, we're a little bit higher than what the going rate is for a lot of other departments. But again, when we broke it down to the fact that we have a brand new gun range, how much it's going to cost us on a semi, well, like every 2 years to get the range completely cleaned and refurbished, it seemed like a very reasonable amount. Both the Royal Oak Chief and I are obviously going to revisit this as we need to. And I don't think there'll be any issues if we're able to show that it's costing more, or that, you know, they're getting a lot more than what we assumed that they would get. I'm sure that there's room for movement there. But also with Royal Oak, we have our training and property officers and range officers working together to work out a yearly schedule, so that hopefully, you know, with some minor adjustments that will have to be made for, you know, people being sick or vacations, but we should be able to do it really well. And it really goes to some closeness with our two departments too. I mean, we obviously share a lengthy border with Royal Oak, and having their officers working with our officers on a much more regular basis is really even a lot more than the money can attest to.
Absolutely. So I guess like just collecting any data over time, like the course of the relationship, would help you sort of to establish a good dollar amount like for next go around. But yeah, I mean, if you think it's fair, I think it's fair. You would know better than me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. There any other discussion from council? Any questions from Chief?
Your
Ms.
Honor.
Grabstein?
Councilman Gettings?
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate the administration and Corey and Melissa, because when we passed this, I think over a year ago, it was quite a lot of money. And I really had to think hard about the vote, but I thought it was a good vote that we took. But this is great, helping to offset the cost of the gun range and help a neighboring city, which I think is always great to build their bonds with other cities. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bliss, did you have something to add?
Yes, Your Honor. So I'm comfortable with the amount and the term. In section 7 and 8 in the agreement, we have some out clauses. So we can terminate the agreement without cause with a 30-day notice, which I think is a really strong thing for us to be able to have in this contract. At that point in time, it, you know, prorates everything. And it's also a 4-year term. So we're generating $20,000 to let these officers come in and use the range, which I really appreciate. And I appreciate the longevity of the contract while having the flexibility to get out of it if market rates change. And I do want to point out kind of what Councilman Getting said. Back when we made the investment in the improvements in the gun range, our officers had to go elsewhere. I mean, it was kind of an unsafe environment. It was hindering training. And now we have a fairly large department that's coming in, and they're not the only ones who are now leveraging our range and paying our city money to be able to use those, which does lessen the cost that we pay to be able to have our local range ourselves and provide that to our officers. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm very supportive of this agreement. The only thing I would caution, and I'm sure the chief has already worked on this with scheduling, at some point we're going to run out of schedule. Until that happens, I'm happy to execute as many of these agreements as you feel comfortable with. But at some point we're just going to run out of hours, right?
Great. Thank you. Any other comments from anyone else on council? Right, so I remember when we had the gun range. I remember the old gun range, and I remember when we were able to have the tour of the new gun range, and it was just night and day difference. And it was a large ticket item. It was huge, but one of the things that we did talk about, there was a combination of our officers had to go elsewhere for their training, but when we have the new gun range, we will be able to loan out the space to our neighboring cities. And as Mr. Getting said, building the bonds with our cities, and as Mr. Bliss said, having a little bit of additional revenue. So I'm definitely in favor of this. Any other discussion from council members? All right, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Greifstein.
Vote yes, motion passes. Thank you. All right, up next we have Police Chief again. It's bid awards purchases, the purchase of two 2021 police utility interceptors. Mrs. Marsh, do you have a report?
Yes, the fiscal year 2021 adopted budget includes the funding for the replacement of police department vehicles 105 and 113 through the general fund. Although the plan is still on hold off of most capital purchases, some items such as these vehicles are in such poor condition that they require us to submit our order in order to have proper build time. Staff and I recommend the purchase of two police interceptor utility vehicles for the unit price of $36,274 each from Signature Ford through the Macomb County Cooperative Purchasing Program for a total amount of $72,548. Funds are budgeted and available in the general fund.
Great, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor.
Mr. Corbett?
I move that the council approve the purchase of two 2021 police utility interceptors in the unit pricing of $36,274 from Signature Ford through the Macomb County Cooperative Purchasing Program for a total purchase of $72,548. The funds are located in general funds at this time.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
Better.
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll second.
Great, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the purchase of two 2021 police utility interceptors not to exceed $72,548. Is there discussion on this item? Right, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark. Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Mayor Greifstein.
Vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. Next up, Police Chief again, purchase of in-car and body cameras. Mrs. Marsh, do you have a report?
Yes. Public safety remains a top priority as identified in the strategic plan. This year, efforts focused on long-term transparency and capital improvements, including the implementation of body cameras and the replacement of our in-car cameras. The city police department currently does not have body cameras, and the in-car cameras are currently in use and past their life and out of warranty. Therefore, we are requesting approval of a 5-year contract with Axon, formerly known as Taser International, to purchase new equipment and software for $342,234. This contract includes new officer-worn cameras, replacement of the in-car cameras, a cloud-based digital evidence storing and management system. This cost will be split over 5 years, with the first year being $100,000. Year 2 would be $74,998, and the remaining 3 years would be $55,745.50. This is actually described as more of a subscription than an actual contract. Over the 5-year agreement, the body cameras will be replaced twice and the in-car cameras will be replaced once. This purchase is considered a sole source. The goods and services required to satisfy the requirements are manufactured and available for purchase only from Axon Enterprises. Axon is also the sole distributor and retailer for all Taser brand products. The city will also actively be pursuing grants for this purchase and has already consulted with our insurance provider, the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Association, for a RAP grant, also known as the Risk Avoidance Program, in the amount of $77,500. Staff and I recommend that City Council approve the purchase agreement with Axon for a 5-year total of $342,234.40.
Great, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Clark?
Hi, I'd like to move that City Council approve the purchase of the agreement with Axon for a 5-year total of $342,234.40.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Councilman Clark or Corbett?
Report.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for, regarding the purchase of in-car and body cameras. Is there discussion?
Your
Yes.
Honor. No, I'll defer to
Councilwoman
Ms. Clark
Clark.
initially.
I know we talked about this at a strategic planning meeting, and I think what was really most appealing to me was that as a subscription service where the technology is like updated and upgraded over the course of 5 years. So we'll always have, correct me if I'm wrong on that, Mrs. Marsh, but we'll always have the most like up-to-date technology that this company offers so long as we have these cameras.
That is my understanding, but I will defer to Corey if that's wrong, but that is how I read it.
Yes, yeah, that is correct. We'll have the first installment of it will be the in-car cameras getting replaced with their latest technology. And then we've already upgraded in the process to the top body cameras that they have at this time. And then we will get updated again one more time during the course of the 5-year plan. And then at the end of the 5-year plan, they will update the actual body cameras a 3rd time just before we leave the program. But again, they'll be updated, but we'll have to buy, if we continue to stay with Axon, then we would get into another subscription program at that point.
Chief, could you also explain a little bit how the data is collected from these body cams and how it ends up getting used, if it ever has to be used? If you could just explain that to our residents a little bit.
Yes, so what it's going to be is the data is going to be uploaded through cellular service. The cellular service is part of what we already have with Clemis for our in-car data computers. We'll be sharing that modem, so the data will come immediately from the body cams and from the in-car cameras will be uploaded to the cloud. And then all of the command officers, the officers, and then administration will have the ability to look at that video that's on the cloud. We won't be able to change any of it, but we will be able to look at it. We'll be able to save it. We'll be able to use it should there be a citizen complaint, should there be some kind of a lawsuit. All of that data will be stored in the cloud, and we'll have the ability to go in and retrieve that data anytime we need to.
Great, thank you.
Your Honor.
Councilman Corbett.
Yeah, Chief, if you would, when we, and I remember having a 3-way conversation with Mr. Bliss and you about 4 years ago, when we first brought up the whole camera issue. And the issue at the time, which was not, depending on where you sat on the subject, and understand it's an entirely different world in 2020 than it was in 2016. But the issue then was storage. These apparently were monstrously huge files that were being transferred to the cloud at the time. And there was a real short leash on the amount of retrieval time. Can you talk a little bit about if there's an incident right now involving an officer and so how long is it available to be retrieved from the cloud beginning from today?
Okay, well, just to kind of back up a little bit, we're talking about two different situations. The first situation, which you're absolutely correct, was we were limited by our server size.
Yes.
Currently with our system right now, we're limited to the size of the server that's in the basement of the police department. And that system uploads through wire links on the back of the building through the airwaves, like a radio signal, and goes to that server. That server basically holds the data for about 2 years. And again, that depends on what the officers indicate that it is. If there's no arrest, no citation, it won't be held quite as long as it would be if there was a ticket issued or an arrest made. Those would be kept for a lot longer, which would go out to that 2-year window. Now with the cloud though, moving forward, the data, and you're absolutely correct, because we actually increased our data server. The last time we upgraded the cameras, we moved it up, I think, to about 13 terabytes in data storage, but now we're going to the cloud. So we're going to eliminate that hold on our storage completely. And it's going to be in the cloud. It's going to be in a government owned portion of the cloud that Taser or Axon uses. So our data is really going to be unlimited as far as storage. However, we still look at the Michigan State Police and what their guidelines are for holding on to information for reasons of FOIA and lawsuits and all of that kind of stuff that goes with that. So we will be limiting the storage of some data because we don't want too much out there, but pretty much we should be able to get anything back that we need for several years.
Yeah, even 2 years is, I must have misdated my memory of conversations, because I remember whenever it was that we first started looking at this, it wasn't months, it was days. There was 7 to 10 days worth of data. And so if for example, an attorney needed to seize the files, they had to either get a court order or a FOIA request in within a week or 10 days. So maybe I'm thinking even further back than my conversations with you and Mr. Bliss on this. How long ago would that have been?
We're probably looking at the first generation video cameras, in-car cameras that we had after we went from, remember way back in the days when I first started here, it was on VHS tapes.
Well, you're a little ahead of me there, but yeah.
I'm a little ahead. But then when we went to the actual storage on a server, we had a very small server at the beginning because storage space was extremely price prohibitive. And then as we've moved along, we've gone through 2 upgrades of the L3 system that we have. And now that we're at this second upgrade, like I said, we have about 13 terabytes, which is enough to hold the necessary data for up to almost 2 years. Now, we would have ran into issues had we not went with a cloud-based system this time. If we stayed with like a platform that required a server, again, we'd be paying a lot more money to have an in-house server, where the cloud technology has advanced so much over the past couple of years, and they've created so much space available for data.
Okay, who's in charge of the file security at this point? Is it the Taser people, or is there a subcontractor who's responsible for maintaining the integrity of the data files, or do you know that?
I believe it is Axon. Axon is responsible for the data, and we also will have a subscription to a software called evidence.com. So we will go into evidence.com to retrieve the data, but the data is storehoused by Axon. Now
I'm about to wander into Mr. Bliss's area here, but is this a single file security, or is it dual? And I guess what I'm asking, if somehow a file is corrupted, are there backups anywhere, or is it one file into the cloud and one file into storage?
My understanding is it's a 3-layer backup. So there is going to be the cloud base in 3 different areas where they have it stored so that it's always able to be recovered. That's my understanding. Councilman Bliss may have more information on that on the technical side.
Yeah, at this point, I'm gonna get out while I still have my techie self here, Mayor.
Your
Are there
Honor.
any other question? Mr. Sherman?
Yes, thank you. In addition to using this information for FOIA purposes and for lawsuit purposes, we use it for prosecution purposes too. Whether, let's say, for example, you have an OWI traffic stop or you have a domestic violence case, and all of this information, typically when we prosecute, we'll have a defense attorney requesting that type of information. And sometimes once that type of information is shown to a defense attorney, he knows that there is no defense to the case, and it allows us to resolve the case faster. So it's good to have.
Thank you. Any other discussion from council?
Your Honor.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis?
Yes, thank you. Chief, can you tell me, you hear in the news a lot where the dash cam and the body cam is not on. Do you have ways to prevent that, or a written type of policy that enforces that, or any type of punitive punishment if they don't have it on?
Chief?
Yes, we actually have several things. Some of it is automatically, the camera is automatically turned on. So there's a certain speed that a police car goes. If it goes that certain speed, it will automatically turn the camera on. If there's a gunshot or gunfire with the new body cams, it would automatically come on, and it will have 30 to 60 seconds of backup video prior to that. We have a very in-depth policy that's easy for the officers to understand, and we've kind of cut and pasted from several different departments. And follow the accreditation standards, because as council knows, we're going through the professional accreditation process. So we've leaned on that very heavily for information on what the officers need to do and when they need to do it. And our basic policy, without giving away the confidentiality of our policies, is pretty much all the time that you're having interactions with citizens, those cameras should be on. And if not, and if there is an issue, then yes, there is punitive measures, there is discipline, counseling, retraining, all the different things that you would come into for any other policy violation.
And could I do a follow-up question?
Sure, please, go ahead.
Thank you. And if there were, God forbid, an incident, and then, so how does it work where sometimes you see in the news that the video is being released, sometimes it's not? Do we have any policies in place for that?
Really that would fall to our legal staff, whether it be the city attorney or whether it be the labor attorneys. The attorneys would get involved and really be our signal of, can we release this? What is the best way to proceed? We've never had any issues with releasing video. It just depends. We want to make sure that our city and the liability is covered first.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Your Honor.
Councilman Bliss?
Yeah, I'm really happy we've gotten to this point. As Councilman Corbin noted, I think we were talking about this as early as a budget session in 2016. Knowing that this was coming, knowing that at some point, both the technology, the budget, and the privacy would all align, we'd be able to work through any issues that we had. So I'm really excited about this. The technology is pretty stellar. I know it's single source, and I know it's a significant amount, but there's good reason for that. The chief and the team have done a really phenomenal job of selecting the right equipment at the right price. It's cloud storage. It's automatically uploaded as things are happening. The cameras, we talked about it with iTech, that the cameras are really cool because they're actually as close as you can possibly get to what the human eye would see. So it's not as truly high def. You're going to be able to experience just as the officers are experiencing if you ever need to pull the footage. And because it's all in the cloud and it's all uploaded, our staff, it's actually going to free up some staff resources when they're having to pull videos or save videos and be able to leverage that storage. It's much simpler, much easier. And I'm really enthusiastic that the stars have finally aligned and we can do this. A, because we have the budget and the ability to do this through a lot of I mean, intense work and scrutiny from the staff. The technology is there at the right level. And as far as privacy goes, as I noted, as far back as 4 or 5 years ago, everybody that they're interacting with has the ability to live stream their side of every conversation. And so I really appreciate that this has an always present, always on camera to be able to get an entire full picture, both because it might be needed for defense or prosecution, but also because it can really help the chief and the team with training and with continued education and with being able to consult on things after they've happened. So I'm really excited about it, and it'll be an enthusiastic yes from me.
Thank you. Any other discussion from council members?
Your Honor.
Councilor Rohrbach?
Yeah, Chief Haynes, I just had a question. The FOIA requests and things like that will come out of this. I believe I remember a conversation last year that was, the concern was it's going to take up a lot of time, or things like that when people are going to be asking FOIA requests for these kinds of videos. I'm thrilled that we have this coming on board. I just want to make sure, we have a FOIA officer that is assigned to this, and it's going to be available but won't be overwhelming for the staff or anything like that?
Yeah, so part of the initial request and part of this request that we're asking to be approved tonight will include moving, we have a part-time records clerk, we have a full-time records clerk and a part-time. It would be moving the part-time records clerk to full-time at the beginning of the year, roughly January, depending on when the actual system gets entered. And we're thinking that that should suffice us and should be plenty to handle the uptick. We've known, looking at other cities as far away as Texas, the initial uptick in FOIA requests really inundated the departments, but we've planned ahead for that. And what's also really nice with this particular system is, because it's cloud-based and because we're not relying on connections to an actual server, our detectives will be able to pull video when necessary. All of our records clerk will be able to pull video, as well as the administrators will be able to pull video. So I think we've got it pretty well covered, but it definitely was a concern before. It's still a concern. But with technology, as Councilman Bliss said, they've really come a long ways with the redaction software. And that was another reason why we really liked Axon, is because they have redaction software as part of the system itself. So a lot of the other systems, you had to get a third-party vendor in to have redaction software, and we know how that works. It really doesn't work that well. So we're really happy with the way things are going.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, just one point of information for council, because Mayor Pro Tem Soltis asked about seeing videos on TV and whatnot. Under FOIA, there's an exemption for matters that are under investigation. So until charges are filed, oftentimes these body cam tapes or in-car videos are not available. And what you're seeing on TV are members of the public videoing an incident right after the incident happens, and then releases it to some sort of media outlet, and you'll see it immediately. But until a matter's thoroughly investigated and whether charges are brought, it comes up in situations that once the charges are filed, there's discovery demands from defense counsel in criminal cases, there's subpoenas filed in civil cases, and once charges are filed and it's in the public domain, that's when we would expect to be able to respond to a FOIA request that it's available.
Thank you for that clarification. So with the redaction and with the FOIA, people can't just randomly FOIA these. There has to be a reason. It has to be an open case then.
No, there doesn't need to be a case, but there are exemptions from disclosures, such as a matters under criminal investigation, that would prohibit us from releasing the videotape until the investigation has been completed.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other discussion from council? Okay, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
I'm sorry, did you say yes? Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
Oh, yes, motion passes. Thank you. All right, next up, boards and commissions, the appointments. These are the city council appointments. We had a number of vacancies from city council this evening. And so first up, we are looking to fill those vacancies.
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
I'd happy to kick things off with a motion to appoint Councilor Rohrbach as the council alternate to the Arts Board.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Mrs. Mayor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll support.
Great, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to appoint Councilor Rohrbach to the alternate position on the Arts Board. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Is there any other wish from council for any other appointments?
If you need me to read off which ones they are, I can do that as well.
That would be helpful.
So the next position that we have is the council representative alternate to the city school liaison committee.
I believe that that Pro Tem Soltis is the main council rep on that. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So this would be, I vacated the alternate. Very low key.
Your Honor,
Mr. Corbett?
I would move to appoint Mr. Gettings to that spot.
Okay. Is there support?
Mrs. Mayor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll support.
Great, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to appoint Bob Gettings to the alternate council representative role for the city school liaison committee. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Gettings,
I'll pass. I
You're
mean,
not
I'll
in-
pass on voting.
You can vote yes for yourself.
Okay.
too.
I'll vote yes.
okay. Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
I'll vote yes for the modest Mr. Gettings.
Mayor
Thanks
Grafstein.
for your support, you guys.
I vote yes, thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Gettings, as well. Next up would be, I believe, the Environmental Citizens Committee, the alternate or the council representative role, which I have vacated. What is the wish of council?
Mrs. Mayor,
Councilwoman Clark.
if she'll accept, I would like to nominate Emily Rohrbach for that role on the Environmental Citizens Committee.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Your Honor,
Councilman Bliss.
I support.
Great, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for Emily Rohrbach to be the council representative for the Environmental Citizens Committee. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, she currently is the alternate, so if council wishes to backfill the alternate, you could do that all in one motion.
All right, would council, what is the wish of council? Would you like to?
So I'd like to backfill the alternate, but I can't vote for myself, so we have to do that.
Okay. Can, do you want to withdraw your motion and perhaps someone else would
Sure,
like to
I'll
make?
withdraw my motion. I'll let
Okay.
someone else give it a shot.
All right. Is there anyone on council who would like to nominate Councilor Rohrbach to be the representative for the Environmental Citizens Committee with Councilwoman Clark as the alternate?
Ms.
Your Honor.
Gross,
Gettings?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Clark for the position of the alternate on the Environmental Citizens Committee.
And
I'll
Mr.
also have to make the include Emily for the top job on that board, excuse me. So I'm making a motion for, I don't know how to say your last name, Emily,
Rohrbach.
Warbach. Thank you, ma'am. And appoint her to take the top job and for Kim Clark to be the alternate.
All right, is there support?
Your Honor,
Your Honor.
Councilman Bliss?
I'll second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded for Emily Rohrbach to be the council representative and Kim Clark to be the alternate for the Environmental Citizens Committee. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Counselor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes,
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion passes. Thank you. I believe next up is ITech. The alternate position is now vacant. I have a motion,
Your Honor,
Your Honor.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Clark as the alternate for ITech.
Great, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Your Honor.
Councilman Bliss?
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for Councilwoman Clark to be the alternate for the ITech. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
yes,
Counselor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion passes. Thank you. Next up would be the the council representative spot for the Community Coalition. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilman Bliss?
I move that we appoint Councilman Gettings to that post.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Your Honor.
Councilwoman Clark?
I support.
Great, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for Councilman Gettings to be the representative for the Madison Heights Community Coalition. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
yes,
Counselor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
Oh, yes, motion passes. Thank you. Next up is SEMCOG. This would be for the council representative spot. Currently, Councilor Rohrbach is the alternate. If she is going to be moving up to the council representative position, then I would suggest that we make this a double as well. If there's anyone interested in having the alternate position. Who wants to make the motion? Perhaps we should.
Your Honor.
Corbett?
Well, let's get the first one here. I'll move to appoint Ms. Rohrbach as the delegate to SEMCOG. If somebody would like to nominate me for alternate, I'd be happy to help with that, but we can take care of this.
So you're interested in the alternate, is that?
Sure.
Okay,
Your Honor.
thank
I
you.
could,
But-
if Mr. Corbett would like to withdraw his motion, I could make the motion to appoint Emily or Councilor Rohrbach to the main council representative of SEMCOG and Bob Corbett to the alternate spot.
I would be really happy to do that, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So that has been withdrawn, and now there's a motion that needs to be seconded for Emily Rohrbach to be the council representative and Bob Corbett to be the alternate for SEMCOG. Can I get support?
Ms. Grafstein,
Mr. Gettings?
I'd like to support the motion, please.
Thank you. All right. So a motion has been made and seconded for Emily Rohrbach to be the council representative and Bob Corbett to be the alternate representative for SEMCOG. Is there any discussion? Being none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion passes. Thank you. I believe that is it for all the regular boards and commissions. And next up would be the new Human Relations and Equity Commission. Is that correct, Mrs. Marsh?
Yes.
Okay, so up next we have the 2 council representatives for the Human Rights and Equity Commission, Human Relations and Equity Commission. This is not a council representative alternate. This is 2 positions. So what is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'd like to nominate Councilor Rohrbach for one of the positions.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor,
Mr. Soltis?
do we have to vote on that first, or can I make a nomination?
Your Honor, there's no second on the motion yet.
Yeah, there's no second on the motion yet.
I can withdraw if Mr. Soltis is trying to include 2 on
Motion.
this one.
Yeah.
Motion has been withdrawn, Mr.
I'll do that.
Soltis, if you would like to make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to, for the, excuse me, the human, can you say the organization?
Human Relations and Equity Commission.
Human Relations and Equity Commission. I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Clark and Councilor Rohrbach.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for Councilwoman Clark and Councilor Rohrbach to be the 2 council representatives for the Human Relations and Equity Commission. Is there any discussion?
Just a quick question for clarification too,
Sure.
and I'm not sure which Mr. Sherman. These are 2 ex officio positions. Didn't I see that?
Your
Or
Honor,
these-
Yes, please go ahead.
that's correct. The council members appointed to the new commission would not have the ability to vote.
But they do have full discussion privilege and
Yes.
so on and so forth. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other clarification or discussion? All right, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. Seeing how we have finished the city council appointments for the boards and commissions, up next is going to be the boards and commissions. This is the residents, it's the renewals and appointments. And we're going to start with our newest board, our newest commission, the Human Relations and Equity Commission. This commission has 5 members and 2 alternates. What is the wish of council?
Mrs.
Your
Mayor,
Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach?
I move that we appoint Simone Moy as a representative or as a regular member of the commission with a term expiring at 8/31/23. Quinn Wright as a representative with a term expiring on 8/31/23. Carrie Glazer as a representative with a term expiring 8/31/23. Sean Force as a representative with a term expiring 8/31/22. And Kevin Wright as representative with term expiring 8/31/22. And are there, in addition, 2 alternate spots?
There are 2
Yes.
alternates.
Okay, and so the 2 alternate spots that I move we appoint are Paul Shaler and Amanda Stein.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
The Councilwoman Clark?
I'll support.
All right, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to appoint Simone Moy, Quinn Wright, and Carrie Glazer to the regular member positions expiring 8/31/23. Sean Force and Kevin Wright to the member position expiring 8/31/22, Paul Shaler and Amanda Stein to the alternate position. I believe I have that right. Is there discussion?
Actually, a question, Your Honor.
Please go ahead.
I would like to put forward the names of Martha Covert and Sean Fleming. What would be the easiest way to do that without?
That's fine. That's why we're having discussion. This was a bit of a different one because we're starting from scratch. And so I had contacted everyone on council to get an idea what everybody wanted. Said, is there anyone that you really feel for this reason or that reason would be a good fit? And so based on the feedback, I thought it made more sense to have this discussion here. So you would basically like to put in a substitute. You'd like to put in Martha Covert and Sean Fleming, and you would like to remove whom then?
Yeah. See, that's the problem. I don't have any particular problem with any of the people who've been nominated. I would just like to put these two forward for consideration. So, okay, I don't know what's the easiest way. I could just offer a substitute motion then, I guess.
Or maybe we can have.
You can amend the motion. You can amend the motion instead of offering a completely new substitute motion, but you have to pick the two people you want to replace with Martha and Sean.
Maybe we can have it. I guess what I'd like to is having a discussion. So, perhaps Mr. Corbett puts in two people, takes out two people, and then Mr. Soltis wants to, and we're going to spend the entire night adding and subtracting. Maybe we can have a conversation.
Mrs. Mayor.
Councilwoman Clark.
So maybe it would be easier to do this one at a time. We got a flood of applications of people interested to join this commission, and a lot of them are already very active and doing human rights work outside within the city. I wouldn't mind doing this one at a time if everyone on council want to do it, because I know it's hard to say like these two people will be better suited than those two people, but maybe we can get a feel for it by having each member of council maybe nominate someone.
Your Honor.
Councilor Rohrbach.
When I've looked through the applications quite extensively, especially since I wanted to be on this as a council representative. So I've really been looking at it and looking at each one of the folks. And it came down to me, I wanted to make sure we had a diversity of experience and population, a group that is going to represent people from every walk of life in our city as much as we can. And when I looked at this group, I felt like we had I'm sorry, I'm looking for my notes real quick, but we had we have individuals who are attorneys. We have a person who's a police officer in another city. We have folks who are of various, backgrounds and races. We have folks with different experience with, sexual orientation and things like that. And I just felt like the group that I nominated really had a very diverse representation of folks in our city. And so that was my reason for this particular grouping. I didn't just kind of pull names out of the hat. I really looked and said, all right, there's some, Kevin Wright and Quinn Wright, who are not related, by the way.
They're self-prescribed cousins.
Right, but they're not. But they, they've both been doing a lot of work in the city currently and in the past with, racial, like race relation work and things like that, and important discussions that have led those discussions. Simone Moy, excuse me, she was a former member of the Madison Heights. I'm really sorry. I have this tickle in my throat all of a sudden. Simone was on the multicultural board, and she had, her husband. She and her husband are part of this community and very deeply involved in the Asian community. And Madison Heights, her husband, was born and raised here, and I felt like that would bring an important voice to this group. Paul Shaler, as an attorney, had diversity training and has worked in that area of expertise. And I thought that was a really important perspective to bring to this group, as well as Carrie Glazer, being a law enforcement officer, having that as an important perspective that this group could have. And where's my other notes? And then I believe Sean Force had mentioned in her application that she is a member of the LGBTQ community, and I thought that was a really important group to also have representation in this commission. So that's where I got this group from. And let's see, is that right? And Amanda Stein was the alternate that I nominated. She's a social worker. I thought that she could have, and she's done an amazing amount of work in the Madison Heights food pantry. I thought she could really, having kind of experienced a lot of service in this community recently firsthand, she could really have an important voice for this commission. So I just wanted to give you my reasons for nominating the folks that I have, and then we can take it from there.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
Please.
I have a suggestion for council. And as I mentioned at the outset, when the mayor asked me the question, you can take these collectively or individually. But when we have a new board like this with lots of applicants, where we have 3 different categories of nominees, 3 terms that expire, three positions that expire August 31st, 2023. 2 that expire August 31st, 2022, and 2 alternates. I think you should either take them one at a time based on, or collectively in those terms, so we can have, so we can try to pare the list down and help us get there, as opposed to a substitute motion for a full slate of appointments.
Okay. I understood. Mr. Corbett?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say, I certainly understand and appreciate Ms. Rohrbeck's comments. I think that Ms. Szymanski and Ms. Covert, I'm trying to keep the names straight here, would also add to the committee, certainly, and that's not in any minimizing of the people that you mentioned, or Mr. Fleming for that matter. Yeah, whatever gets us from A to Z quickly, or at least, quicker.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes, please.
So at the moment, there's a motion on the floor.
Right.
And my notes indicate motion by Councilor Rohrbach, supported by Councilwoman Clark, for the full slate of 5 members plus 2 alternates. So if we're going to deal with them individually or in any other type of grouping, then I would ask that the maker of the motion and support either agree to withdraw or leave their motion on the floor.
Your Honor.
Please, Ms. Rohrbeck.
I'm not sure that we are ready to do that. I don't know if people on council want to take it that way or another. I don't know how that, like Mr. Corbett, do you want us to revisit this, or would you like to have us, like, is that, I don't understand if that was is that your choice? Would you rather have us take it up in 3 different things, or because we can go forward with this?
Well, whatever way would get Ms. Covert and the others consideration before the council. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not.
I think so. I think you do want us to remove our motion and have a new one, correct?
Well, if that would give those people a chance to be considered, then yes.
Okay, then I will remove my motion from the table.
Mrs. Mayor,
Mrs. Clark.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Quinn Wright to the term expiring in 8/31/2023.
Okay, is there support?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
I'll second that.
All right, motion has been made and seconded for Quinn Wright to be a regular member expiring 8/31/23. Is there discussion?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
perhaps as Councilor Rohrbach did in her running through to allow for a real, I guess, discussion on each individual applicant, maybe giving a reason why this person would be great in this new board. Also keeping into context, this is a board that's basically merged two of our boards. So it also, it has the multicultural aspects where we're trying to be able to have the human rights aspect and diversity, and we want to have that conversation. We also merged the Crime Commission, and there was the actual mission statement from the Crime Commission was adopted into the purpose of this board. So how each candidate would relate into that, I think would be a great discussion. I think that checks the box for what Councilman Corbett was trying to do.
I actually have a little bit of information I can share on Quinn Wright. He is a financial advisor who actually works at helping to support small businesses with their money management and money decisions and money education. He's also a resident of Madison Heights, and he's one of the leaders in the Madison Heights Citizens United Committee, which was birthed out of the Black Lives Matter movement here in our city. He works with Kevin Wright very closely in this organization, as well as Lori Gerald and myself and a couple other members of the community, to put together discussions discussing how race has impacted different members of our city, where you come from. And of course, not because he's Black, but because he's Black and he's representative of the Black residents in our area. And he brings a lot to the table when it comes to being able to share his experiences, of which we have no idea what they are.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion regarding Quinn Wright? Okay, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Yes. Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes, of course.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Mayor Grestein.
I vote yes. All right. Thank you. Is there another motion? What's the wish of council?
Your Honor, I would move to appoint Martha Colbert to the next opening, which I believe, I just flipped the wrong page, but I believe it's another 2023 appointment.
Okay. Is there
Yes.
support?
Your Honor,
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll support.
Thank you. All right, motion has been made and seconded for Martha Covert to have the second regular member spot expiring August 31st, 23. Their discussion?
Your Honor, I just,
Corbett?
yeah, I know indirectly of Ms. Colbert over the years. I do know that she does have familiarity in the court system. She was a clerk. I first became familiar with her when she worked over in the our court here in the 43rd. And I believe she worked originally under Judge Turner, if I recall correctly. She is a resident, a homeowner, and she has been here, as far as I know, for 30 plus years. I don't know her personally. You now know the extent of my my resume on her, but she has been an active resident and one that's certainly been involved over the years, and she's certainly familiar with the court system.
Your Honor.
Thank you. Counselor or Councilwoman Clark?
Hi. So yeah, I actually do know Martha personally, and she would be an excellent addition to this, not just her relationships with law enforcement in our courthouse, but she's a longtime resident of the city. My girls go by and see her dogs all the time and play with them. And I know she's passionate about how the city's run. She's usually at every city council meeting when it's live, or watches it on. So I know she follows everything that we're doing very closely. So I think she would make a great addition.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion from council members? All right, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Counselor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes. All right, so Martha Covert is our second spot. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor.
Councilor Rohrbach,
I move that we appoint Simone Moy to the regular seat expiring in 2023.
thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis?
support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for Simone Moy to have the regular member seat expiring August 31st, 2023. Is there discussion?
Ms. Rohrbach, sorry, Mrs. Mayor.
Councilwoman Clark?
So you guys said, I think discussed earlier that, was it Simone who was formerly on the previous committee that had been dissolved for this one? And she also expressed interest in being on this committee as well, correct?
Correct. She was on the multicultural committee and was very excited to get started to work with the city and to be really involved with that. She, you know, I had mentioned before that she and her husband are very involved with the Asian community in our city, and have talked many times about how there's not enough representation of that community in our government and boards and commissions. And so I think that that was a big part of what brought her to the multicultural board in the first place. And so yeah, certainly she is motivated to be active and to have purposefully bring in a portion of our community that feels underrepresented and make sure that their voices are represented in our community discussions. I'm having a hard time finding I have it here somewhere, but I wanted to be able to kind of review some of her other qualifications, but this is a really big document, 140 pages.
140 pages.
I keep losing things and it all looks exactly the same. So I apologize. I think I found her. Hang on. So, and I know her, I know Simone from, we both have children in the same school. Our kids have played soccer together. She is a Girl Scout troop leader. You know, she does training and for engineering at General Dynamics. Like, she's a highly professional and very experienced leader of people and groups. And I just think she would be an asset to this group.
Thank you. I like the fact that she was on the other board. Then it sounds like she was someone who wanted to get very involved, and I like that. I like that, and I like that Martha Covert had the court experience and that Quinn is active already. The others. All right. Any other discussion from council members? Okay, seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes. Motion passes. All right, and what is the wish of council?
Mrs. Mayor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I would like to nominate John Force for the term expiring in 8/31/23.
All right.
I would specify the Human Relations and Equity Commission.
Your Honor.
Clerk?
I believe we filled the first 323 seats,
Yes.
and now we're on to 22.
Okay,
Yes.
I apologize for
Yeah.
the 22.
Okay. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Counselor Rohrbach?
I support.
Great, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to appoint Sean Forrest to the regular member position expiring August 2022. Is there discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I can speak a little bit about Sean. Sean actually was one of the original founders of the Madison Heights Food Pantry, which looked to close the disparity gaps with our residents. When COVID-19 happened, a lot of us lost our jobs and we needed to find a way to get food. She's also a member of our LGBTQ committee, and she's also a member of the Anti-Racist Coalition, who works closely together with the Madison Heights Citizens United Commission or committee on Facebook to help bring conversations regarding race around our city.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion from council members? Okay, I like that Sean is bringing this extra diversity as well to this group and has experience working with the community. So seeing no further discussion, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Is there another motion from council?
Your Honor.
Mr. Bliss, I think.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to move to appoint Mr. Sean Fleming to the final spot.
Okay, is there support?
Your Honor, support.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to appoint Sean Fleming to the final regular spot expiring August 2022. Is there discussion?
Your Honor.
Mr. Bliss?
Mr. Fleming is a veteran. He's worked his whole career, I think, trying to bring people together at the VFW. And I do want to point out the reason that I made the motion is he was the resident who specifically read the resolution, identified a gap with the crime commission language not being in there, brought it up at public comments. And so I appreciate that he was excited enough about this new board to voice his opinion and help to actually make it better. And immediately then after filled out the application, one of the earlier applications coming in. So I would support him.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion, Mr. Corbett?
Just a quick question about the remaining, there are 2 seats remaining in the alternate slot. Is that, am I keeping track of this correctly?
You are. We have appointed 4 regular members.
Okay.
Right now, we're having discussion about the 5th regular member.
Which is
and
the
then
seat till 22.
2022.
Right? Yeah, okay.
2022. And then once the 5 members have been appointed, we will have the regular members, we will have 2 alternates.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion? Okay. And again, I like that that Sean was in the military. I know we had another applicant who was also in the military. I think that's a great background. Thank you for your service. We do appreciate it. So yeah, again, there was, I think Councilwoman Clark said this, we just had a swell of really good applicants, and it was a matter of picking the best. So is there any other discussion regarding Sean Fleming? Seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Clark.
No.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
and Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes. Motion passes. That is all of our regular members. We still have 2 alternates.
Your Honor.
What is the wish of the council? Councilman Corbett.
Yeah, I would move to one of the alternate spots to appoint Mr. Kevin Wright, please.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark.
I'll support.
All right, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for Kevin Wright to have an alternate position expiring August 2022. Is there discussion?
Your Honor.
Corbett.
A few weeks ago, well, I guess it was a few months ago now, Mr. Wright was sitting at his computer and saw what was going on in the world and stepped up. He pushed away the computer and went out and, well, he organized at the computer first. Then he pushed away from the computer and has been out engaging people in discussion, bringing people together. This is an easy nomination, and I'm very happy to make it. He is a founder, and I want to get it correctly because there are a couple of similar name groups. It's United, the Citizens United, I believe.
Yes.
It's the proper name of the original group that he organized, and so it's just a real privilege. I've known Kevin and his family for, let's just say, a minute, and so I'm very proud to make this nomination and be very happy to cast a vote for him in a moment.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
I've known Mr. Wright for years. He's an incredible guy, a great asset to the community, longtime resident, and it's great to have him part of this board. I support it fully.
Thank you. Any other discussion from council?
Can't say anything that these guys haven't already said, but Kevin Wright is absolutely amazing. His contribution to racial relations in the city cannot be denied. He's been really great.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, and I will echo it. He organized the couple of rallies. He's very active in this, and again, another great candidate. So if there is no more discussion, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Before I do, Your Honor, I missed who seconded that motion. Was it Councilwoman Clark?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that leads us to the vote. Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion passes. Thank you. One more alternate seat left.
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark.
I would like to nominate Amanda Stein for the last alternate seat, please.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilman Corbett.
support.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded for Amanda Stein to have the second alternate position expiring August 2022. Is there discussion?
Mrs. Mayor.
Councilwoman Clark.
Amanda Stein is a great asset to this community. She's a homeowner. She is a resident. She's also she is the executive director of the Madison Heights Food Pantry, which she started. And she also is a social worker, but she also started another program in the city connecting seniors with other residents in the area to help get them anything that they might need or have someone to talk to or to make sure that their needs are met and that they can partner with somebody else here in the city. So she's already done a real great deal to start closing those disparity gaps in Madison Heights.
Great. Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Okay, so yeah, Amanda was heavily involved in the food pantry. She has a social work background, which I think can only benefit this this commission. So once again, another good candidate. We really didn't have any bad candidates, but we had a lot of good candidates. So definitely support Amanda on this. No more discussion. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion passes. All right, thank you everyone for for your thoughts this evening for this commission. And I encourage Paige and Jessica and Carrie and Paul and everyone else, because there were so many others that applied, to please stay involved. These meetings are all open to the public. Everyone is welcome to attend, and we really do want to bring everyone from the community, as many people, get as many voices as we can.
Mrs. Mayor,
Yep. Yes.
Mrs. Marsh explained to us like how this committee will meet for the first time, if there's already a date set. Is this something we have to do on Zoom, or are we small enough numbers we are able to meet together or outside?
Well, first of all, as soon as tomorrow, we will email out to the people that have been appointed and ask their availability for the first meeting. So that'll be the first thing. Once we figure out what their availability is, we'll set an agenda and then determine where we're going to meet. We could meet in person if we met outside. The problem is we don't know how many members of the public are going to show up. So that could push us over the limit, because we're already going to have 5, 6. We're going to have 9 just from the people that you appointed today. And then there'll be probably at least Chief Haynes and myself, if not other staff members there. So we'll already be over 10. So we'll have to work that through, as well as people's comfort level of meeting together. So we'll take care of that when we email out the board members now, or the commission members.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that was our big one, because that we were filling it from scratch. So again, thank you everyone for that. Okay, next up we have other boards and commission vacancies. So we have Arts Board. I believe there is an alternate member expiring 2021, regular member expiring 2021, and a regular member expiring August 2023.
Your Honor, we need to take care of the renewals first so we know exactly which seats are really open. We kind of skipped over that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Question, Your Honor.
Please.
Did I see, and somewhere in this 140 pages, did I see somewhere that the renewals could be handled on a single motion or one general motion? Did I? Or
yes.
Did I can't,
yes.
I can't see that.
Okay. Yes, please. Renewals. What is the wish of council?
Then I would move that the people who have indicated willing and are eligible to be reappointed, be reappointed. And I'll be looking at the computer here. If I see anybody giving me the evil eye, that maybe we need to separate something out, but I'll make that general for all the boards and commissions on the agenda tonight, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second support?
Your Honor.
Councilor Rohrbach?
I support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to renew all applicants who are willing for all renewals for the boards and commissions. Is there discussion? Okay, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Yes. Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Yes.
And Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes. Everyone is renewed. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Corbett, for all in one. All right. Next up, the vacancies. Thought we would start with the Arts Board, but really it's, what is the wish of council?
Your Honor.
Councilor Rohrbach.
For the Arts Board, I move that we appoint Crystal Fox to the regular term ending 8/31/21, Stephen Dombrowski to the alternate seat expiring 8/31/23, and Jason Theodorov to the alternate seat expiring 8/31/21.
Okay, is there support?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
I support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for the Arts Board alternate and regular members. Is there discussion? Okay, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
Vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. I believe up next is Community Development Block Grant.
Mm-mm.
We don't have any applicants for that.
Okay,
Next would be the Environmental Citizens Committee.
all right, thank you. Motion.
Your Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach.
I move that we appoint Devin, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Nagengast, hopefully, to the regular councils or regular seat expiring 2/28/21. Crystal Fox to the alternate seat expiring 2/28/23, and Daniel Lee to the alternate seat expiring 2/28/21 on the Environmental Citizens Committee.
Great, thank you. Is there support?
Your
Yeah.
Honor. Support.
Councilman Corbett, thank you. All right, motion has been made and seconded to appoint the alternate and the two alternates and a council member, or two alternates and a regular member to the Environmental Citizens Committee. Is there any discussion? No. Okay, hearing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. Mrs. Marsh, which would be
The
up?
Historical Commission is next. We have two applicants.
Okay, what is
Your
wish of
Honor.
council? Councilman
I'm
Corbett?
sorry. My apologies. Move to appoint Mr. Sean Fleming and Mr. Eric Gradingers.
Yeah.
I hope I did that correctly. Both to regular terms on the Historical Commission with terms which will be expiring February the 28th, 2023.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for two members expiring February 2023 to the Historical Commission. Is there discussion? Okay, hearing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you.
Next is the Information Technology Advisory Committee. There's two regular seats and one alternate.
Okay, thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Councilman Bliss.
Just for this motion, I'd like to appoint Brandon Chernesky and Scott Toller to the two full seats.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark?
I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to appoint to the two regular member seats for ITAC. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Yes. Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries.
Your Honor,
Yes, please.
with the appointment of the movement of Brandon Chernesky from an alternate seat to the regular seat, that leaves two alternate seats available, just so council's aware of that.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Marsh, which board would be up next?
Does anyone want to make an appointment to the ITAC alternate, the two seats? No? The Library Advisory Board Commission is
Yeah.
up next.
Your
Okay,
Honor.
Councilman Corbett?
Yeah, I would move to appoint Ashton Southard and Christina Menzer to regular terms on the library board, which will expire on the 31st of August, 2022. In my motion, the promotion of Southard will create a vacancy in one of the alternates. if I read that correctly.
Yes.
See, I'm doing your job, Cheryl. That's my motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Counselor Rohrbach.
I support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded for the 2 regular members for the Library Advisory Board. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Counselor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Mayor Greifstein.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
Up next is the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. There's a regular seat and an alternate seat.
Okay. Wish of council, motions.
Your Honor,
Cheryl, yes, clerk.
that is your appointment, so you
Oh.
need to get a recommendation.
Okay, would anyone on council like to make a recommendation? Okay.
No,
Yes, hold
to
on.
approve your recommendation.
Recommendation, yes, okay. So this is Parks and Rec. There are 2 applicants for this. If I believe I'm reading this correctly, there are 2 applicants. There's Jamie Bomarito and Jason Theodorov. Is that?
Yes.
That's correct? Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure how I request that council accept my recommendation.
Yes.
Okay, I request that council accept my recommendation to appoint Jamie Bomarito and Jason Theodorov to the Parks and Rec boards. Jamie Bomarito would be, nope, that's not what it's going to be.
Yep. One's the regular seat that expires February 28th, 2021.
Okay,
And one is an alternate seat that expires February 28th, 2022. You just need to designate who's going to be on which seat.
okay, Jamie Bomarito to expire for the regular seat. And Jason Theodorov for the alternate.
Okay.
Yes.
That works.
And
Okay.
they're confirming your appointment.
And if council could confirm my appointment.
Your Honor.
Councilman
I move-
Corbett.
Yeah, I move that the council confirm the nomination of the mayor for, I'm sorry, you lost me the 3rd time through it. I believe it's Jason for the full term and Jamie for the alternate term.
No, it's Jamie
Otherwise,
or Jamie
sorry.
Bomarito would be the regular seat expiring February 28th, 2021. And
Mhm.
Jason Fedorov would be the alternate seat expiring February 28th, 2022.
That's what I meant, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Corbett. Is there a second?
Your Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach.
I second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Counselor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Sorry, yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark. Councilwoman Clark,
Yep, unmute.
Yes, sorry. I thought I was unmuted this whole time.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Mayor Greifstein.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
That's it. There are no more appointments tonight.
Okay, because the planning board was renewed.
Yes.
The planning commission was renewed. Okay. All right. Okay. Up next, minutes. Special city council minutes, meeting minutes from August 5th. What is the wish of council? Mr. Corbett?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm jumping the gun there on you. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I move that we approve the special meeting minutes of 8/5/20 as printed.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark.
I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the special city council meeting of August 5th. Is there discussion? Seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote? You're on mute. Cheryl, you're on
She doesn't
mute.
like us.
I'm on mute. I'm sorry.
You were on mute.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
No.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Council Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. All right. And then finally, the regular city council meeting minutes from August 10th. If I can get a motion for that, please.
Your Honor.
Councilman Corbett.
There, see, I got my timing back. I move that the council approve the regular meeting minutes of 8/10/20 as printed.
Great, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Clark.
I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the regular city council meeting minutes from August 10th. Is there discussion? Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Council Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. All right, that is it for the evening. Seeing how there is no other business before us, I invite closing comments. Councilman Corbett.
Well, I had about a 2-hour speech I was going to read here, but it's getting a little late, so I'll pass on it. And I just wish everybody a good holiday weekend. The weekend after next will be Labor Day, so and in the summer, which I don't even remember it starting. So anyway, thank you, ma'am. Have a good evening.
Great, thank you. Councilman Bliss.
Yes, Your Honor. It's sad we don't have any more boards and commissions right now. we could have gone longer. I'm really thankful for everybody who put in applications to serve. We are so blessed as a city to have so many incredible volunteers, people willing to step forward. And then oftentimes those that are still in the queue, as we've seen with the Arts Board, ECC, so many other boards, they will be appointed as new vacancies come up. So if we could, particularly for the new board, get an email out to everybody who filled out an application, all of those amazingly qualified people that we just didn't have room for, and let them know that their applications are still going to be kept on file. If they are willing, that would be awesome. I'm so thankful for these volunteers, and you know, it kind of is unique to Madison Heights that we have so many strong boards and commissions, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this new one is going to be able to do. It sounds like we're going to get off to a fast start, so I'm excited about that. Only other thing for me tonight is tomorrow is the last day for musicians to apply to be in our Strolling Music Festival. I've been fortunate to see some of the applications as they've been coming through, listening to a lot of good music. There's so many talented musicians that have already applied. We still have room for some more. If you or somebody you know is a musician, they have until end of day tomorrow to be able to apply. They can do so by emailing the Arts Board at mhartsboard@gmail.com and sending us a link to a video, preferably in YouTube, of their performance. Any type of music is accepted and encouraged, and it's going to be a really, really fun event. Looking forward to publishing the list after the Arts Board votes. I believe Wednesday, either Wednesday or Thursday, to approve that list of musicians for the event. We'll publish it after that on the Arts Board page, so everybody can start checking out these artists in advance, getting as excited as I am for this music festival in October. That's it, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Councilor Rohrbach.
I too have like a 20-minute discussion I need to have with you all. I'm just kidding. I am really thrilled that we had our appointments today. Like Mr. Bliss said, it is, I think it's remarkable how many people want to be involved with our commissions, and there are, and in boards, and there's still room for people to get involved. If you have applied for a board that you didn't get on, but you realize that we have openings in several boards that haven't been filled, maybe just don't give up is what I'm saying to the people out there. I'm really excited to bring that board. Mr. Bliss and Ms. Clark, you guys have both done some amazing work so far, getting that board up and running and doing some fabulous stuff. And I'm really thrilled that I'm going to get to be a part of that. And I'm excited to see the new members that have also joined that board. I was looking at some of their resumes, and there's some really great things that we can do with that, I think. I'm also thrilled that to be taking up the reins on the ECC, and I want to thank Ms. Grafstein for getting that started. And once again, there are some really amazing people and some things that are in the works. People have great ideas and are taking the initiative to get things done, from planting trees to planting pollinators to celebrating that we're quickly becoming Monarch Heights and Madison Heights. And I don't know about you all, but I've seen a huge uptick in the number of butterflies in our neighborhoods, and I think it's really special. So I'm excited about that and excited about the new ideas that are coming to those boards. I also want to acknowledge that for most of us that have young children in school, this is the last council meeting before school starts for many people, and this will be the most unusual start of a school year I think anybody living has ever seen. So I have, as all of you here know, that I have 3 school-age children. My daughter is going into 4th grade, and my twin boys are both going into 2nd grade, and they will all be learning from home in a virtual setting for a while. We don't know, and it's terrifying, I know, for myself and for many people. And so I am trying to take this in and make sure that I tell myself, and I'm going to tell out there who are going to be tackling the same kind of thing, that you're going to do your best, and it's going to be the best it can be, and it's fine, even if it's not the best you want it to be. We're all nervous about doing something new. We all need to give grace to ourselves, as well as the teachers and administrators and the people at our school, in our school districts, that are trying to make the best out of a very difficult situation. I'm knocking on the wood of my desk because this is only temporary. We will go back to something more resembling normal at some point in the future. We don't know when that is, and we can't control it. So we are going to just control ourselves and our attitude and try and make it the most positive experience that we can. And nobody has it all figured out. So once again, just giving grace to ourselves and to others in this situation, I think is going to carry us all through to a good start of the school year. And so good luck to everybody getting started, and good luck to all you parents. I'm with you. Thank you.
Great, thank you. City Attorney, any comments this evening?
Couple of very quick things, Your Honor. First of all, on behalf of the city, I would like to pass our condolences on to the family of Royal Oak City Commissioner Kim Gibbs, who passed away last week, and also to her colleagues at the city of Royal Oak. Secondly, mentioning for the benefit of the public that it seems painstaking that we, on a night like this with all the appointments, that we have to take a roll call vote rather than a voice vote on all of these appointments. But that is something that is required by the governor's executive order, which permitted Zoom public body meetings such as this one. So we're not doing it because we're doing it because we're obligated to do it on any motion that's brought forth during this pandemic when we're operating on Zoom. That's it, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Mrs. Marsh?
I want to echo the comments of council earlier about the appreciation of all the boards and commission members. They really do make a huge difference in the operations of the city. And one thing that didn't come up during the body cameras or kind of come up lightly was ITAC was instrumental in the body cameras and in-car cameras. So these boards do play an important role in the operations of the day-to-day, government. And even if you're not appointed, like the mayor said, you're more than welcome to attend because the public has valuable input to give. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to just remind everybody that this Wednesday is the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. And today there's over 68 million women in the United States that actually vote in elections. So I would ask you, if you're currently not registered to vote, that you take that opportunity to do so. It has never been easier than it is now. You can come into City Hall, you can call the clerk's office, you can visit our webpage. And if you're already registered to vote and you want to get more involved, I'm sure the clerk would accept most anyone to work an election. So feel free to reach out.
Great. Thank you. On that note, clerk, do you have anything for this evening?
Well, speaking of the election, sure. Yes, I am always looking for volunteers to, well, not volunteers, for people to work the election. It's a long day, but it is rewarding. So if you're interested, we have an online application you can fill out. I have gotten several new applicants. So I'm very excited about these new faces, and that's what makes it all work for us. About 10 days ago, we were notified by the Michigan Secretary of State's office that they are going to be funding and reimbursing the city for prepaid return postage on our absentee ballots for any community in the state that wishes to participate. So I have been working for the past 10 days with the post office to secure a permit for us, and the post office has been great. They expedited our request, and today it was all finalized. So my order is out to the printer for that. So that's exciting. So nobody will have to pay for return postage if they decide to return their ballot through the mail. Because of some of the issues that we're facing with the post office, we do have a drop box in back of City Hall. We also have one inside of City Hall by the clerk's office, or you can turn it in person, your ballot. So I encourage you to use any of those options. If you wait until the week before the election to return your ballot, I strongly encourage you not to use the postal service. I encourage you to drop your ballot off in person. We've gotten a lot of phone calls about when you're going to get your absentee ballots. We will have the ballots 45 days prior to the election, and that is so that we can provide those ballots to our military and overseas voters. We do not send out the ballots right away because I have to test every ballot style with our voting equipment to make sure everything is being read accurately. So expect to see your ballots the last week of September. If you need an absentee ballot, you can get an application online. You can call our office. We can send you an application, or you can come into the office, go on the Secretary of State's website. It's as easy as getting the application, taking a picture on your phone, and emailing it to our office, and we'll fulfill that application request for you. And thank you for that monotonous boards and commissions approval process. I'm trying to make it easier. Sometimes it seems more cumbersome, but I do appreciate you guys taking the time to do that today. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Councilman Gettings?
Yes. I'd like to thank Councilman Mark for coming up with the idea for the kind of continuing the concert or the festival in the park, if you will, and Miss Palazzola. Excuse me. Also like to thank, excuse me, I think it's catchy, get something in the throat. I think their ideas are great. I think it'll be well received. October can be a crazy month weather-wise. We all know that with Halloween, but I think this will be well received, and the folks can come out and go from station to station and be entertained by some good music people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Clark?
Hi, I'll make it quick. I'm very excited about the new boards and commissions that I get to be on. It's hard to not find a board and commission that is not extremely active in our city these days. So it's really exciting to see so many residents getting involved, whether they have leadership roles in the community or they don't. It's nice to get more people to the table to bring ideas together to help make our city a better place. The only thing that I wanted to bring up tonight, and Mrs. Marsh, I know that you and I have communicated about this before, and our residents have reached out to you and I both about this, but there still seems to be some concerns about the urgent care clinic on 12 Mile Road by Delton. We have residents who have concerns about the excessive traffic, the dangerous parking, in the amount of pedestrian traffic of people going to get COVID-19 testing. They're sort of like lingering on the roads or dropping all of their masks and their gloves, and they're kind of leaving everything around. And I know that we have done a lot to address this. I'm not sure what it is that we can do to enforce some sort of more organization in that area, but I know all the residents on that street are very concerned and very nervous about letting their kids outside to play in the front yard for fear that they might get COVID-19. So that's all I have for this evening. I'm just excited to get back to work.
Great, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to, like everyone else, congratulate all the appointees. Great boards, great citizens. We all appreciate everybody's hard work. Also, Councilwoman Clark and myself sent a letter to the offices of State Senator Boss and State Representative Ellison regarding our newly passed conversion ban therapy in hopes to persuade them to bring up the issue at the state level. But Senator Moss representative said they are already working on a conversion ban therapy as we speak. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do up in Lansing. Third, lastly, I've been riding, my bike every morning. Everyone's trying to get outdoors, try to get some exercise, some sanity. And so please, if you're driving your car and you come to a stop sign or a red light, that means you stop before the stop sign, and you don't look to the left and not to the right, because there might be a biker there, and it happens all the time. So please be cognizant of bikers, especially in the morning, especially tall ones on a blue bike, and because it is quite dangerous. I had a few close calls, but it is a serious matter. So if you're out there listening, please just pay attention. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. So also be cognizant of the short person on the yellow bike, because as mentioned a couple of months ago, I had surgery on my foot, and slowly over the last couple of months, I've moved from being on a scooter to having a boot to getting on a running shoe, walking very slowly, and I'm actually biking and driving, not long distances, but I am back on my bike. If you see me out there, please be careful. I'm trying to be careful as well, but yeah, it is great to be out there, especially when it's not really hot. But yes, everyone needs to be aware of bicyclists, walkers, motorcycles, just whatever. For the boards and commissions, just to echo what Mr. Sherman said, in a regular in-person setting, most of our votes are just done. But because we are doing this virtual, we have to roll call every single vote, and it is very time consuming. I appreciate Mr. Corbett today putting together the motions when he could, and everyone doing that. And as we go forward, anytime that we can do that, I would like to see us doing that, and I think we are working on that. I appreciate everyone who applied. It's great. It was a nice problem to have, that there were so many people who had these different qualifications. We did appoint a veteran, but we also had another veteran who had applied. We appointed somebody who had the court background, and we had a police officer who applied. So we had, I think we had 2 lawyers who applied as well. This is just really diverse backgrounds. And we had a lot of people who I don't think have ever applied, or perhaps it's been a long time since they have. And so I really appreciated that, seeing that, that this is something that brought out other people. And I'm going to make the request that when the new board does meet, once that is solidified, just letting all the applicants know. It was something I requested when I was on the Environmental Citizens Committee, that all these meetings are public, but just making sure that anyone who did apply received a special part of the email notice that that it was happening, so that even if you weren't appointed to the board, you can still watch, you can still participate to some extent. Also, to echo Mr. Sherman, my thoughts and prayers go with Kim Gibbs and her family over in Royal Oak. I met her a couple of times just at a couple of different events. I didn't know her well, but I felt horrible when I heard she had a car accident and she passed away a few weeks later. It was just very, very sad. And then to also echo what Councillor Rohrbach said, this is the last meeting before school starts. Both school districts in the city have decided that they are doing online until at least the end of October. I want to thank all the school board members and all the teachers and the superintendents, just everybody who is involved with that, for everything they have been doing. I know that they have been working diligently over the last few months to come up with the best scenario in this situation, and that there's going to be a lot of changes when school starts. So just everyone keep that in mind, be patient with each other, and give grace to all the parents and to the teachers. Everyone really is trying their best. On that note, there is no further business. The time is 9:41. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.